Dominica plans to create history as it rebuilds from Hurricane Maria. And in sport, Lewis Hamilton extends his lead in the Formula One Drivers' Championship. I'm Ricardo Roberts, and this is Caribbean in 10 for Monday, October 9th. I'll be back with the details after the break.
Join us on this edition of Caribbean Passport as we discuss relief efforts for Hurricane Irma, preview the 2017 Barbados Food and Rum Festival, stop off in Antigua, and so much more. All next on this station.
As it moves to rebuild from the devastation caused by Hurricane Maria, Dominica is on a mission to become the world's first climate-resilient nation. Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit shared that vision with United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres when he visited the Eastern Caribbean island yesterday. The Category 5 hurricane made a direct hit on Dominica on September 18, causing widespread devastation. And Skerrit said while the country did not ask to find itself in this predicament, it has actively and decisively chosen to be an example to the world and is on a journey to become the world's first climate-resistant nation. He said, quote, "Our devastation is so complete that our recovery has to be total, and so we have a unique opportunity to be an example to the world, an example of how an entire nation rebounds from disaster and how an entire nation can be climate resilient for the future." Skerrit says the UN has an important role in guiding Dominica on that journey. During his visit, the UN Secretary General took stock of the immense hurricane damage and the relief efforts underway and paid tribute to Skerrit for his vision to not only rebuild but create history. The UN and its partners recently launched an appeal for $31.1 million to reach over 90% of Dominicans. That's about 65,000 people in the next 3 months. And the UN Secretary General also paid a visit to Barbuda, which was left uninhabitable by Hurricane Irma early last month. And having seen firsthand the destruction by both Irma and Maria, he called for the full mobilization of the international community to support the people of the affected countries. Guterres said he has witnessed a level of destruction he has never seen before in his life. In fact, he described Barbuda as a paradise transformed to hell, and he renewed his commitment to seeing that small island states affected by devastating hurricanes remain in the forefront of consideration for critical aid needed to rebuild. He also stressed the need to accelerate climate action.
Of 300 kilometers per hour for 37 hours. This is the longest such period ever recorded. In the last 30 years, we have tripled the number of natural disasters and quintupled the economic losses due to these natural disasters. So the link between climate change and the devastations we are witnessing is clear, and there is a collective responsibility of the international community to stop this suicidal development. And for that, it's essential that the Paris Agreement on climate change is fully endorsed and respected, but also to recognize that the commitments made in Paris are not enough. So we need an enhanced engagement of the international community in order to be able to dominate climate change and to avoid this dramatic multiplication of disasters we are seeing even more dramatic in the future.
Police in Trinidad and Tobago are searching for an ex-inmate who allegedly killed a prison officer over the weekend. Richard Sandy was shot in a bar on Saturday night and died yesterday at the San Fernando General Hospital. The 46-year-old father of 5 was in the establishment when he was approached by a man who was recently released from prison. The killer, who was identified by witnesses, pointed the gun at Sandy, said something, and then fired. The prison officer's widow, Jennifer Sandy, said that several months ago her husband had received a letter from an inmate who threatened to rape her and kill him and his children. But she claimed the authorities dismissed the threat and accused her husband of setting up the prisoner to write the letter. Sandy was a prison officer for 22 years and was last attached to the Port of Spain prison. Stay with us. Your Midday Sport is next.
Near Boston, firefighters respond to a very unusual call. A cat's head is stuck in a sewer cover and can't get out, leaving these puzzled rescuers wondering what to do. Now, how do they free this kitty? It's not every day these firemen come across such a bizarre situation. They spot the litter below as they pour vegetable oil over the cat's head, hoping it will serve as a lubricant.
Lewis Hamilton staved off a challenge from 20-year-old Max Verstappen to clinch a thrilling win in the Japanese Grand Prix yesterday and extend his lead in the Formula One Drivers' Championship. The 32-year-old started on pole and after ridding himself of main challenger Ferrari Sebastian Vettel through a faulty spark plug and controlled the race at Suzuka to land his 8th win of the season. But the triumph was not as easy as Hamilton anticipated, as Verstappen produced impressive pace with his Red Bull and was only 1.2 seconds behind when the 3-time world champion took the checkered flag, with Vettel retiring on lap 4. After starting alongside Hamilton on the front row, it was Verstappen who provided the challenge. He was 5 seconds behind on the 21st lap, but pressed Hamilton and cut the lead to under a second at one stage. But Hamilton held his nerve at the lead to take the win in 1 hour 27.31 with Australian Daniel Ricciardo in the second, Red Bull finishing third. The victory saw Hamilton increase his lead over Vettel in the top 59 points. At the top to 59 points, inching ever closer to a 4th world title with 4 races remaining in the season. And veteran Barbadian jockey Patrick Husbands produced a dominant gate-to-wire ride aboard hot favorite Wonder Gadot to win the $125,000 Mazarine Stakes for a record 7th time at Woodbine on Saturday. And we get more of that in our major newscast at 6:30. That's Caribbean in 10. Good afternoon.